Hello everyone, this is Aigerim Kuralbek, and today in this video I'd like to present my research paper. So let's get started. First, it's the content which discusses about research purpose and questions, the research significance, main concepts of literature review, methodology, research findings, and conclusion. So first, let's talk about research purpose and questions. That's the fundamental part of any research. But before talking about them, I'd like to introduce my research title. It's the role of using debate in the secondary school of EFL class. So I came up with this title because I had a special interest in debate, not only as an activity that can be used in English language or in any classrooms, but I'd say as a developmental game applicable for everyone, for people of all ages. And also debate has lots of benefits and they are countless. And one of those benefits were mentioned in my research paper. So the research purpose of mine was to identify the effects of using debate on EFL learners' speaking, listening, collaboration, and critical thinking skills. With the following research questions such as, in what ways does debate improve learners' language speaking and listening skills, as well as collaboration and critical thinking skills? And to what extent is it effective to apply debate in language learning classrooms? This last third research question was answered by myself, relying on the data findings of my research and my existing knowledge about it. And now let's talk about research significance. So I highlighted these two elements, benefits. First one is my research is beneficial for EFL teachers and practitioners as an educational tool. Well, I would say that debate is not only beneficial, useful for EFL teachers or practitioners, I'd say it can be beneficial for all teachers of all subjects for multiple reasons, as well as it's beneficial for students, obviously, in developing or improving their skills and competencies as important areas of development. One of which is essential is 21st century skills. Okay, now let's talk about literature review, main concepts used in the research paper. I pointed out these two parts in my literature review. One is the effects of debate on EFL speaking skill, and second is the effects of debate on critical thinking skill. As it's seen from here that I use thematic way for my literature review, as almost all the authors were talking about these two things, speaking skill and critical thinking skill enhancements with the help of debate in their works, well, that were closely related to my research questions. And thus I mentioned these two things primarily in my research literature review. Okay, now let's talk about research methodology. So for a research method, I use qualitative type. As I was planning to conduct interview, semi-structured, that's a combination of both prepared in advance questions and the free-flowing conversation with the interviews. And it was a face-to-face group interview. It took place on site in the secondary school. A sample were 8 EFL learners that were all female, aged between 13 and 16, having a pre-intermediate English level. And for data analysis, I used thematic analysis, having all 6 steps, starting from coding, and segmenting, dividing into the themes, naming them, etc. And about research findings. So I wrote here the basic results of my research. My research purpose was achieved. All research questions of mine were answered. And as it can be encountered from my literature review that there was a connection, good connection, link between the literature review, the author's work, findings from the literature review, and my research results. Consequently, the findings were revealed positively. And in conclusion, I'd like to mention these three aspects, which are experience, feelings, and skill that I've gained from writing research. The first is for experience. I learned how to write research properly, correctly. That is about research structure, organization, especially in the methodology part. I was able to dig into deep into each part of research methodology, and that was really fun side of writing research when you have so many ideas to include. But at the same time, it was challenging because it was time consuming, apparently, and a lot of time and effort was put into writing research. And for skills, I mentioned only this skill. This is critical thinking skill. That's a top, let's say, top skill gained from writing research. So everything can be applied to this category, to this skill. Starting from, brainstorming your research title and coming up with your research purpose and questions. So in one of the fun sides of writing my research, conducting my research was individual approach. Let's say to my research was conducting debate-based classes with my sample. It was, I think, extraordinary idea and very engaging part of it, I'd say. Okay, thanks everyone for attention. So if you have any questions, you can leave your questions down below on YouTube comment section. And here is my email address. If you have further questions about my research paper, you can contact me. Okay, bye.